I told you in my last video, it's never been about guns, and it really isn't. So we got some stuff to cover here. I want to talk about it. I left some stuff out in my last video, so I want to make sure we cover those bases here. And then I'm going to tell you why 3D printing is in danger. And a lot of people are going to say, well, it's only happening in Washington, or it's only happening in New York, or it's only going to happen because they're talking about it now in California, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. But there's going to be a tipping point where enough of these states pull this kind of shenanigans where the 3D printing companies are like, well, okay, well, everyone has to do it now. Trust me, that's the way it goes. Once they start making it for X amount of, and they're not going to give up. They might give up on Washington. They're not going to give up on the market in California. That's just not going to happen. They're going to change their machines. And if you think you're going to be like, oh, I'll just go back to my old Ender 3 or I'll take my machine offline, brother, you're missing it. You're not thinking the whole thing through. So let's get into it, all right? Now, the first thing I want to say is this is not just 3D printers. In fact, the law states that it will be all additive and subtractive manufacturing. For those of you who don't know, 3D printing is an additive manufacturing. You know what's a subtractive manufacturing? CNCs. That means every CNC shop out there, every industry that uses CNC machines is going to have to upload to the government service. And the way this works is the government says they're going to have a server. And the company that has the 3D printer, you have to go either to the server or you have to go to the 3D printing company, which will go to the server. And the server on the government side is going to tell it whether it's an authorized print or not, and then let you print or not. Imagine all the people with patented, or patent pending or about to be patented stuff, and they're trying to build prototypes. Do you think they're going to upload them to the cloud? Oh, hell no. This is going to be absolute craziness. And you think that would be it. That's going to be the end of this, right? I mean, it's going to kill all industry. Except the states this is happening in aren't really big on industry. And and there's money behind it. And there's always money. You got to follow the money, all right? So this is not, and it's not just CNC, all right? We're talking laser cutters are involved. Any XYZ kind of machine, laser cutters, CNC. This even covers your grandma's Cricut cutter, all right, vinyl cutter, stuff like that. They will be part of this as well because it's an XY machine that can be modified to do blah blah blah. And it can be used with. There's always the what if. Well, what if somebody does this? It's all going to get regulated if these bills are allowed to pass. All right. Now, I have a background in technology. All right. I was the chief operating officer for a tech firm in Silicon Valley for 2 decades. All right. And I reached out to some of my old contacts, guys who were smarter than me, about how would you, if you had to implement this technology, would you do it? And the overwhelming response is it's got to be an AI. You can't just have a list because they'll just change the file. They'll change the name of the file. They'll change it to notagun.stl, and or they'll change it. They'll add some bit on the model, and then you can just break that bit off once it prints, like a support kind of thing. That you're not going to get around it like that. They're going to use AI modeling to do this. Now that means 2 things: ridiculous amounts of bandwidth. All right, that means every time you hit send to printer or print, it's got to first go to the cloud. And then it's got to go to an AI. And the AI, that means not only are we talking bandwidth, all right? And bandwidth isn't free. If you host a server, you got to pay for every person that hits that, you got to pay a penny here, a penny there, and they add up real quick. But AI, oh my gosh, they're going to have AI hosting. And that price of that for every single model, it's got to go through an AI render through the roof. All right? Imagine how often you print. Now imagine you're at a print farm. Print ranch. Oh my gosh. But just you at home, you want to print it every time. Now the government's not going to foot that cost. And the 3D printer companies aren't going to foot that cost. You know what that means? Every time you 3D print or use your CNC or do some scrapbooking with your Cricut, every time you hit that button, a window's going to pop up. They're going to ask you to enter your credit card information and pay a fee. And if you don't believe me, you've never dealt with the government. Trust me, I've been in construction, I've done all sorts of stuff, and every time you have to pull a permit for any little thing, there's a fee to that. trust me, states like California, Nevada, and other states they've made it an art form to collect those fees. They've made it super easy. It's not even like getting a ticket anymore or anything like that. You just pay the fee and you keep going. They are already set up and automated for collecting fees, and that's what this is. All right. And I said before that this is about, that eventually there's going to be IP related issues. You want to print a copy of Mickey Mouse, your printer's going to be like, oh, it looks like that's a copyrighted IP. Would you like to use this fully authorized version instead because that one's been banned? And you say yes. And they're like, great, that'll be $22.50. Okay. Luckily, if you go that option, that model's already been pre-approved, so you probably won't have to pay the fee for that. The government not taking a fee? No, they're still going to take a fee. So that's what this is. It's a two-pronged approach. It is a money printing machine for the government. Every time you hit print, it's going to charge you again. There's no other way to do this. And trust me, I ran it by some of the smartest people I know, people who are they're brilliant, okay? And, I thought, I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm pretty accomplished, but these people, yeah, when they're sitting there telling you this is the only way it's going to happen, this is the way it's going to happen. Also, the bill is written in such a way that if they want to make changes to it, there's going to be a committee that can just decide, oh yeah, that's on it too. They don't need to pass additional laws. So it isn't going to be just guns. It's going to be anything they determine, and they can make it retroactive. Your Ender 3, oh, it has to be compatible. It's not compatible, then you can't use it. Sorry, we're not sorry. You got to pay your fee. All right. You're like, oh, I'll just disconnect. A lot of you're like, I'll just disconnect it from the internet. Great, you do that. That's also a felony. Every time you hit print and don't connect it to the internet, that's a felony. They come into your house, there's 500 Mickey Mouses, felony, 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 felony. You're never voting again. All right. And you're like, well, they'll never find me. They can't go door to door. They don't go door to door for laws right now. There's tons of stuff that's illegal. They never go door to door. You know what they do? A lot of people don't know this. I'm also the author of the best-selling book in the world on how to make moonshine. Kid you not. And I've done a lot of research in doing this. And I went back and I looked at all the people who got arrested for moonshining. And 90% or more happens, basically, they pissed somebody off. They're shining and they get in a fight with somebody, they get in an argument, they call somebody a you-know-what, and that person gets on the phone. Dude, Steve over there, he's running a print farm. It's illegal. It's all offline. It's all illegal. He's probably printing guns. I don't know, but you should check out. Cops roll up. They don't have to go door to door. They're going to get a tip and they're going to go to your door. All right? And they're going to have a warrant because it's going to be easy to get. And they're going to come in and they're going to find all your 3D printers that aren't connected. That's felony, felony, felony. It's always the person you piss. And half the time, moonshiners, it's the girlfriend or the ex-wife. So all pissed at me. I'm going to turn that son of a bitch in. And I tell you what, that's always what it is. Also, on the other side of that, if you ever get robbed 9 times out of 10, it's someone you know. They talk to somebody who talked to their brother-in-law who's a POS, and he's like, I'm going to go over there and break into that house and get that big shiny new TV my brother-in-law was just talking about. So it's loose lips sink ships, as they say. And so you can probably get away with it if you're super quiet, you never show your 3D prints, and you never talk about it, and you never piss anybody off, and you take them all offline. You do you, but most people aren't. 99.9% of the people aren't going to go that route, and they're not going to risk a felony, not just the 3D print stuff. And as I said, they don't have to go door to door. They're going to get your neighbors to turn you in. And how long do you think it's going to take until there's a bounty system? Turning in those nasty people who are 3D printing ghost guns. Martha across the street, that Karen, she doesn't know what you're printing, but she saw you come home with that 3D printer. She just knows you're printing ghost guns in there. Because the media told her, and they're scary. Folks, I may seem a bit exaggerated, and I kind of am. I'm going a little bit over the top to get you to understand this is serious. And once you let them get their foot in the door in New York and get their other foot in the door in Washington, it's just a matter of time till they get the rest of the country. All right? They're not, they don't have to do it at the federal level, but they can do it at the state level, and they get enough of the states, then it just doesn't matter at that point. Everyone's going to be pulled in along with it. And trust me, other states that you think wouldn't do this, states like Texas, they start seeing California just rake in the money, and like everyone's used to it. We might as well get our share as well. Yeah, that's going to happen. All right. At which point the feds are going to be like, hold up. You guys are making money on this? Well, let's take a look at that. So you need to write, people. You need to talk to your local congressperson. You need to talk to your state senators. You need to make it just plain as day. You're not going to stand for this. This is an overreach. This is ridiculous. We want our right to repair. We want our right to manufacture. We want the government out of our homes. All right? And this is literally the government in your home. And people say you can't do it. They're already doing it with printers. All right? Go try and print a $20 bill. See how that works out for you, okay? It's already a thing. And they're going to try, because it's a cash cow for them. It's a cash cow for them, and they're getting supported by all these big intellectual property owners like Disney and whatnot. It's a huge thing. You want to print that? All you guys who like to do cosplay? Oh, that looks like a Deadpool mask you're trying to print. Sorry, that's banned. But here's the authorized one for only $159. Well, there you go. All right, you can yell all you want in the comments, say it'll never happen. The only way it won't happen is if you do something about it. So get activated, get in touch with everyone you can. Even email those people over in Massachusetts and California and what. Say you'll stop buying products from there. All right, do whatever you got to do, because if we don't stop it now, it won't get stopped ever. Anyway, if you like what we do here, go ahead and chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on. Figured out where that came from now, didn't you?